Welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors that aim to share information, advice, tips, and tall tales about our favorite pastime. Head over to thepitmasterpodcast.com for all things Pitmasters, or follow us on your favorite social media platform.
We won the Open in '98, and that was with 400 teams.
The thing is, when people tell me, hey, I did your recipe, and my family thinks I'm amazing now.
Right? Everything barbecue is we are arguing, and Jerry spring up is like, knock on her door, and I say, shoot, got some barbecue for you. And she say, thank you, Tuffy. And it just kept going, and then as time got further along, started winning and doing real well, and I developed on a lot of rubs and seasonings, and it snowballed from there.
Damon had this ridiculous sense of being able to look at a rub and he can name it. I'll never forget, so he looks there and he goes, hey man, I see what you're doing over there. Why, I got that Sunburn Docks in a Plowboy's bottle. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Here are the hosts of the Pitmaster Podcast, Rusty Monson, head Pitmaster of Salt City Barbecue, and the two-time Grand Champion Pitmaster of Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue, the Anthony Lujan.
All right, guys, we got Salt City Barbecue right here with us. I don't know what they have going on, if they have the Ray Charles thing going on or what. They're blind to talking to Smoke Ain't No Joke. I don't know what's going on here. Fill us in, Rusty.
We wear our sunglasses at night and in the daytime, so it's important that we have
shades.
We have a certain image we need to uphold 24/7
to block the haters.
This is to block. Absolutely.
Our future's so bright, we got to wear shades.
That's exactly right.
Wow. Alrighty, so we decided to bring our team members on for this podcast. Let's go ahead and let's start on to my right. Jarod, go ahead and start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, my name is Jarod. I'm a team member of Salt City Barbecue. I'm the brisket guy, I guess. I work at Barbecue Pit Stop. Shout out. Love that place. I also work Texas Roadhouse here and there, helping out. So, but yeah.
Sweet. And he's from Boston.
Yeah, I don't have the accent though, but I'm from Massachusetts. Yes.
Oh, nice. Alrighty. Then the bottom right.
So I'm Chad Unsicker, and I work as a full-time dad. And that's kind of how Rusty and I got hooked up, is we both were doing the full-time dad gig, and our wives are best friends. And one day we were on a trip that our wives had earned through their company. And I believe we were in the Bahamas, and Rusty turned to me one day and said, I want to do competition barbecue. Do you want to go in on this with me? And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. And it's just been a roller coaster ever since, and it's been absolutely a blast. So
nice. Heck yeah. And then who's this guy right underneath me? It's like the Brady Bunch.
I am Rusty Monson. I'm the head cook of Salt City Barbecue and the co-host of the Pitmasters Podcast. Yeah, he's right. We started this gig, me and Chad. I sent out so I was watching a documentary called Smoking Ribbons, and on it there's a team called Social Smokers, and he had said that he sent out an email to all of his friends, like 50 people, to join a barbecue competition team in Kansas City. So I'm like, hell yeah. And he's like, well, and everyone responded. So they had this huge team, because so many people wanted to do this barbecue thing. So I said, I'm going to do the same thing. So I email everyone I know and message everyone I know to have this barbecue team. And Chad and a guy named Clayton get back to me, and that's it out of all these people. So it didn't work as well as I'd hoped. And then Chad and Clayton kind of went on to other things, and Chad and I just kind of kept going, and we did the backyard thing, and we did okay. We got called our first one, and we did a lot better. The second, barely losing grand champion, literally
story
by
of our lives,
0.0% of something, and got that. So we decided after, months of speculation, that we were going to jump into the pros, because, if you win in the backyards here, you have to go pro. And we thought, why sling it out another year in backyard? Let's just do this thing. So I was thinking about putting another team together again in a serious manner. Like I was on a plane coming back from somewhere. And I thought to myself, I'm going to start this team right now. Landed in literally Jarod, who I sort of knew from Texas Roadhouse. I knew him really well. I trained at his store, but not like we were like booze and buddies or anything. Just out of the blue messaged me like, hey man, if you still want to do that thing, I'm down. I'm like, ironically, I am totally down. So let's do this. And then we had a guy named Andrew on the team for a little while. He just kind of had to move on for a little while to do his own thing. And the three of us just kind of stuck together, and we've been doing it for about a year, a little over a year now. So
nice.
That's the story of Salt City Barbecue.
Nice. I had the opportunity to cook with you guys to actually see how you guys all worked out together. Jarod was pretty solid on the brisket. You were very solid on communicating with everybody else other than your team members throughout the competition. And Chad did a lot of cleaning, a lot of maintenance, fire management, chicken, making sure everybody had drinks, was going on runs. So actually, I think Chad is the key of all this group.
He's the glue that holds it together.
Holds us.
I'm the chicken man. And, listen, if we need something done, I know that the fort will be held down while I'm gone. Because, Rusty's going to go talk to anyone else. And Jared's going to be able to tend the fire, keep everything stable until I get back with Rusty's Frappuccino. And we're all good. It's
nice. No, but for real, you guys are such a great group of people to hang out with and cook with. Like, I loved that opportunity, and I'll take you up on it again anytime if you guys ever need my help out on the road. But you can't put your guard down around these groups of people. Like, if you put your guard down, they're going to jump on you. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to make you shoot drinks out of your nose. Trust me. So,
oh yeah.
Yes, it is very entertaining, even at 3 a.m. or whenever you're at. So, well, Rusty doesn't know what it is like to be at 3 a.m. But
I gotta get my beauty. So you guys have to understand something. I'm the talent. I can't be doing things like staying awake, cleaning stuff, trimming, cooking.
He's our Justin Timberlake. We're just the backup singers.
You guys are the roadies.
Yep.
That's funny. So, Jarod, what got you into this whole thing? I know you and Rusty met at Texas Roadhouse, but then what actually got you into like wanting to get into competition barbecue?
I started watching videos on YouTube. Like, I'm a huge, I just watch cooking videos nonstop, and I just stumbled upon to all things barbecue was my big go-to. And then I started seeing all the barbecue stuff, and it just progressed from there. And then I saw that Rusty got a Yoder, and so that's when I actually messaged him and was like, oh, I'm so jealous. Do you watch this guy? And he said, yeah. What are you doing with your drink?
He's being the talent. He's being the talent. He's being the talent.
I know. So anyways, fast forward probably 3 or 4 months, and I see that he's getting off the plane from Kansas City. And I was shopping at the time at some store, and I saw he got off the plane. And I was like, are you opening a restaurant? I'm in. I'll quit Roadhouse straight up. And he just said, I need a competition team. Do you think you could do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to my boss, see what he says. And so from there, I was born into the team.
Now you work at a barbecue stop or pit stop. So you work at a barbecue store and just talk barbecue.
I love it.
40 hours a week. So
yeah,
nice.
In the beginning, it was going from the restaurant life to the retail life and talking to people. It was a kind of a challenge at first, but I've gotten acclimated and I love it. I really do. It's something I really do enjoy.
Nice. So, other than at the pit stop, what are you currently practicing on?
Smokers. I have a Traeger Renegade Pro, and then I'm in the process of moving, but then I'm going to start pulling out my Weber Smoky Mountain, starting to cook on that again. Sweet.
Chad.
Yes, sir.
Were you cooking barbecue before you met Rusty?
I actually started out with a Traeger tailgater, picked that up. It was used. And I got the opportunity to do the Thanksgiving turkey that year. Just a big deal in our family. Thanksgiving is, with cooking turkeys, my mom raised turkeys all growing up. And so if you screw up the turkey, you're out of the family basically. So I had to make sure that I did that right, and it turned out pretty well. Used a bunch of different recipes from YouTube, and it turned out all right. But yeah, never really looked into any other smokers or anything else. Maybe thought about getting a bigger, better Traeger later on. But right now, or the next thing that happened was Rusty approached me and said, hey, let's look at getting a bigger smoker, something we could do catering with, as well as cooking and doing competitions. And rolled out the big one, or the good one, which is a big one. And we started cooking on that, and that's kind of where we started out. And I learned a lot really quick, and it was all a lot of information that Rusty just kind of helped force feed me into understanding the ins and outs of these cookers, which, it was a baptism by fire, and it's been so much fun, and pun intended.
Nice. So Rusty, I know you help encourage your team. You give them your recipes. You tell them to go home and practice. You guys have currently been on this venture for 2 years, correct? You had a backyard year and then last year's professional team. Have you seen an increase of their development as they've been practicing at home, as they bring it to their game to live competitions?
Yeah, the more you practice, the more you get it done. See, Chad he's really Dewey Decimally, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. Like, he's very precise. So when he does, someone like him does chicken, right? He's going to do it right. Me, I'm just going to be like, it's fine. And Chad's like, no, we must take out this tendon this exact precise way. And we must lay out the fat this way. This is the only way we can do it. So that's
consistency.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times people tell you this on the podcast. Jarod wouldn't know, he doesn't listen, but everyone tells you be consistent, and you are just like, we'll get there. And then you come back and you're like, guys, we got to be more consistent. That's where our cook's falling apart. We're not consistent enough. But
I always tell the team, do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
So it's an important rule.
Yeah.
But Chad's really good at that Dewey Decimal stuff. And, Jarod, he spent a long time cooking steaks and different things like that and prime ribs and stuff. So when it came to doing brisket, that was the beast. And, they just get more consistent. They've tried to do it's like sometimes Chad can't join us on the road. So Jarod has to step out on a couple meets, and he does really well. But anytime they do get with since the beginning, it's kind of like crazy in the 12 months we've been pro, that how good they have gotten at what they do and how consistent it's become, so it's been a huge growth, and it's just those reps, man. It's like Chris Lilly says, that 1,000 pounds of ash, Yeah.
Remember, I had to go on myself in the St. George competition.
So we know, I guess for all of our listeners, Rusty is very detail oriented. If he wants to learn about a salt, he's going to read about every single salt that's out there and what flavor profile I'll put out there and all that stuff. So that's how he is with his rubs and everything on competition meats. Have you guys, Chad and Jarod, have you guys tried to change Rusty's mind on a recipe at all, or are you guys just running with his recipes?
You don't change Rusty's mind. There's there's just no way. It doesn't happen.
Actually,
so the way that we've worked, we work as a team. We do. And, we give Rusty a lot of crap about, he's a little prima donna, but hey, it's what works for our team, and he's willing to listen. He is, but you got to get him at the right time. We're all a pretty cohesive unit. Jarod, he shows up. We always practice or do everything at Rusty's house, where all the smokers are. Everything works a lot better there. So Jarod shows up, and we just throw down a brisket, and Rusty hands him some sharp knives, and he starts going to town, trims everything up. Rusty's got everything ready to go. And then Rusty starts working on the pork butts and see what he can do about getting those trimmed up the right way, the new way that he learned that week, and trying new things, always trying new things. And then you got, by the time Jarod's done with that, I'm almost done with chicken. He jumps in, helps me out with chicken. And then we all kind of finish up ribs together as a team. And, I think working together and getting through all of that we've all learned how to help out, work together, and check each other's work, because we're constantly, hey, is this right? Is this working? And so does Rusty listen? Absolutely. He'll listen, but he also wants to make sure that he gets his point across, because we understand that this is Rusty's team. But we're able to help out and be a part of every step of it. And he's willing to hear us out, because Rusty's put in the investment, the time, the money on a lot of that. And we're here, and we've just got a crazy blessing of being able to be a part of this ride. And like I think after every competition, there's at least some form of a thanks so much, Rusty, for bringing us along for this. Even when we get annihilated at Wendover and it's just terrible, it's still, we're walking away because we got to hang out with friends. We got to be with our barbecue family that weekend.
Nice. That's awesome. And you guys are very open. Like you said, you guys are very open into taking new ideas. Like I had the opportunity to go with you guys to Wendover, and we met the day before or 2 days before, I can't remember, to do trims. And I went through my through my pork trim, and you guys are all kind of like asking questions about it. And then I don't know if you implemented them. Same with your chicken and brisket. You guys were all willing and open to ask me questions and try it and see it. And that's awesome that you guys aren't just on a one track mind. This is how we're doing. You guys are always looking to improve your game, and that's huge.
Well, when you learn, you die. And to go back on that, like, it's funny because they do the chicken trimming. I did it at first, and then if I'm done with ribs for some reason, they still have a lot of chicken to trim. It's a good time to go do something else. I like, oh, what time is it? I should get lunch.
Check on the kids.
But it's cool. It's a cool team, because I think what works as a team, if you're going to do a barbecue team, so I go out and do my thing, and I do what I can, and I'm trying to be involved in every aspect of it, in every meet and every stuff like that. But if I'm on there, if I'm on that table, Chad and I have worked together long enough where it's like he almost knows what I need. So before I even like need it, it's in my hand. It's like, oh, thanks, man. And it's same with Jarod. We just it's funny because the last comp is like almost like a dance. We're like kind of moving around each other in a really conformed, like nice way, and everyone's complimenting each other and helping each other out. And we at this point we kind of know what each other needs, and we're on it. I know when we're doing brisket time, it's time to put the tool on.
Exactly.
For Jarod. And get him pumped, but be with him and just know what he needs. We all know the recipes. We all know what needs to happen. So we all kind of jump in, and it's really, really cool. I know a lot of people do that by themselves. I couldn't do it without these guys at all. It wouldn't happen. So it's been super cool to have them, and we get along really great. So we're all friends, we're all good friends. So
Jarod, he is
super fun.
Currently playing the field with the ladies. So he's free and open to do whatever he wants. But Chad, how is that? Joining a competition barbecue team, kind of, I know it creates a little bit of tension in every relationship, but is your wife open to it? Does she usually accept the competition's barbecue side of things?
So, like I said before, we kind of fell into this. Rusty and I met because our wives are best friends. They both do nails. They both sell makeup. And so they've been working together and playing together and hanging out. So we know each other really well. And my wife, anytime that it's like, hey, we're going to go like this, and then we're going to need you to come and taste test this, we're going to do chicken. She's like, all right, sounds good. Take off. And so it's generally been pretty good. There are times where you got to juggle that schedule and work with kids. And I mean, I got 3 kids. Rusty's got 3 kids, and, trying to balance businesses and all of that kind of stuff going on all at the same time. It's a lot. And so luckily we've got family and friends that step in, help us out, and help us to be able to have that freedom to be able to do the things that we need to. And the beautiful part about this team is when I'm stuck at home and can't make it happen, Jarod's there, he picks up the slack. And those two are some of our best scores have actually been when we're running a 2-man team. And it's when our team, we perform when the odds are stacked against us. You've heard time and time again in this podcast where Rusty references how we practice rain, snow, shine. It's terrible. I mean, we've gone through it all, and we deal with adversity, and we have so much fun doing it.
Right. Then how do you feel about you guys get your cooks down, you get your guys' timing down, and then there's a last minute change. Does that frustrate you at all? Because like we said, Rusty's he's the puppeteer a little bit. Hey, I want you to change whatever. I want a finishing au jus on the brisket at the end. Is that kind of like, oh man, I wasn't ready for this? Is it frustrating, or do you just roll with it?
Oh no, that takes all the pressure off. If Rusty's going to go ahead and say, we're going to change this, sounds good. Yeah. This is on you. It's on you, baby. This is all, I'm done. You're going to break it. And it's that kind of stuff. And we've had those types of changes. And Wendover's a perfect example of us, the wheels coming off. We tried too many things. We changed this, change it. It happens, things change, but, we've talked about, Rusty will bring it up. You got to be like water. You got to be like fluid. You got to be fluid. You got to be changing. And, it's something that we've learned a lot. And
I'm the Phil Jackson of barbecue.
So you got 6 championships. That's amazing.
But yeah, we it's something we work on. And that's kind of a thing is Rusty will come in, when we have a change that we want to make, he'll come in and be like, "Oh, I think we should change this. What do you guys think?" And it's never like we're changing this, we're doing this, unless he knows for a fact. He always, tries to counsel us, double check. Hey, is this what's going on? Is this how we're doing this? Yeah. And then we go ahead and either back him up and we make the call as a team, or we say, "I don't know any better. You make the call." Or it's just like, no, we got to stick to our guns, do what we know, and let's just play the game.
All right. So if he's heading to the trailer and he has a black bag of blues hogs, of lump charcoal, you to tell him to set that down? You're not doing that. You guys you got to put your foot down, because this dude said he's 100% Kingsford from here on out. So are you guys willing to?
That was since COVID. So we've done a whole lot of no competitions since he has become a blue bag man.
Right. So, okay. So if you see that lump charcoal coming in, you got to put him in.
It will be coming in at a time where it's got to be tried and true. He's tested it. He knows what he's getting into. That's when it comes in.
Nice.
Hey, they fight me on that. Okay, let's not play games here. I switched over. They're like, "We're doing charcoal. We got worse since we switched over." So.
We did, but we learned how to roll with the punches and make it work.
It's just adjustments. You just make that adjustment. Like, once we've all learned, and we've talked about on this podcast, don't make adjustments at competitions. Make them home at your practices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. So Rusty, how do you feel about these two? Are they pretty solid for you? Are you going to be training them more to where you can almost just walk away and like, "Hey, I can't make the competition this weekend. Can you guys go out there and handle it?" Are you?
No, I would like it. We've talked about it, like splitting up, like, "Hey, you do one thing and one comp and we'll do another, kind of thing." Like when we had 4 people, it'd be cool to have, one of us in Colorado and the other one in Arizona, the same week. That would be cool, but I can't not do it. I have to do it.
Right.
So it's not because I'm like a control freak. It's just, man, I got to be there. Like I said, when I'm on this podcast before, I'm a judge and I want to judge, but I'd rather cook it. So I'm just like, if I had to choose, I can't just, I would love, for example, this might go down still. We're signed up for the Bands, Brews, and Q in Boise, Idaho, but it's also the Utah finals for the SCA here in Utah. So these guys might go up there and cook it, and I will cook the SCA, that kind of stuff. But other than that, I wouldn't, if I didn't have to.
Rusty's the king of FOMO. So when it comes to this, we would go out to Colorado. He'd cook that SCA, and when it's time for awards, he might be on a flight. If I know Rusty, that sounds more like him, to show up last minute. I don't care. We got to be there. This is his baby.
Yeah. That's awesome. Nice. I was thinking about almost like baseball. I want to bring team members on to my team, like new people, and train them, and then, okay, you guys are going to go compete in the backyard competition till you can prove yourself to be on my team. So there'll be Smoke Ain't No Joke backyard team. That's what kind of processed through my mind to go to the team route. But it changed last summer when Trevor became available to join my team. So, but I don't know. That might be an option for other people that are out there listening. Like
that's what we thought too. If we ever have a fourth person, it would be, okay, Jarod, go cook a backyard with him, or there'll be a farm team kind of thing. If there was more people interested, that would definitely be the case. Like
that's when I break out uncultured swine.
Yeah.
Jarod is also uncultured swine when he needs to be.
Once.
And he's very uncultured swine. Period.
I got two.
He cleaned house. He did great.
I got 4th place chicken and 5th place ribs.
Yeah, it was awesome. On everybody else's dime. It was awesome.
Simply marvelous apple. Yep. Especially on chicken.
Yeah, there you go. There's the winning key.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So is there anything else you want to add to these two, Russ? You want to pump them up, get them all hyped, ready for, I guess, we're competing for SCA next weekend. Solid. They officially opened up our social gatherings, I guess, a little bit, and we are going to have our first SCA cook May 8th at the barbecue pit stop in Lehigh.
May 9th. Saturday, May 9th.
Sorry. Yep. So.
No, man, it's just been cool. Like I said, it's like, it's always really fun to go with these guys to every comp and travel. We all get along well. We get these Airbnbs, we hang out, we're not really big partiers. So we're there to do a job and we get it done. And these guys take it very, very seriously and they really want to win. I mean, I've seen Chad basically not speak for 4 hours after a comp because he didn't place well in chicken, like that's the kind of people you want on your team. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who wants to get better and does well, but when he doesn't, really is introspective and wants to improve what he's doing and he cares deeply. Jarod does too. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Jarod threatened to quit his job just because I needed someone to come over and trim a rib. Hey, I'm going to trim some ribs. Jared's like, quit my job. Not barbecue pit stop. Not barbecue pit stop when I was at Roadhouse. That's the whole joke. And so anytime I need it, man, Jared's always hitting me up, dude, let's practice cook. Dude, let's do this, man. Let's go practice. What are you guys doing Sunday? Let's go practice cook. And he's always wanting to, he's always willing to get there. And he's super enthused, he really wants to do this and be good at it. And he does well with our brisket. Our brisket is our number one category and it's not even close, and he is 100% the brisket guy. Now I might've said, here's the recipe. And I might've done it once, to show him how, but I mean, he's taken down top threes in almost every single cook we've done with brisket. So he does really, really well. And then, like I said, Chad and I, we work very, very well together and Chad's very, very passionate about what he does when he's there. I mean, like I said, man, we're focused, laser focused, except for when you go to St. George. But
that was a rough one. Not our best comp.
Let's just say we were super patriotic that day.
We were very patriotic.
We were doing the 9/11 shots or for the flag, and we were very patriotic.
Yeah, that was actually a fun competition, and my team members, I know one of them at least. We made the adventure into Nevada to pick up some extra herbs.
But it's really all comes down to like hanging out with these guys and having fun. I mean, we travel a lot, we goof around. And if I wasn't having fun, then they either wouldn't be on the team or we wouldn't be doing this. That's what's the most important thing is if you're having a good time and we get along, man. We all hang out, we all hang out outside of barbecue. We hang out, we're just a team. We're friends. It's a perfect situation. We've had people wanting to come in to our little group and it's just like, because we're doing fine. And nice. I like really enjoy hanging out with these guys, and I wouldn't do it any other way, except for with the wife. I've threatened them 100 times with the wife, but she's nowhere near wanting to do barbecue competitions with me. So their jobs are safe for now.
Yeah. Well, cool guys. I think that should be able to wrap it up. We wanted to do this to introduce you to our team members. We do talk about them quite a bit, and so we just wanted to introduce them to you. So, to follow these guys, you can find both of them on Instagram, but just head over to Salt City Barbecue's Instagram and be able to tie in from there and make sure you support this team because it's an awesome team and they're a great group of people to be around.
Yeah. And again, thanks guys for coming on and hanging out with us. I've always wanted to get you on. I'm glad we were able to do it.
Hey, no problem. It's always fun.
Anytime.
And love listening to the podcast. And I don't know if anyone's got any recommendations for who they need to have on next. Start shooting them out, because I'm flabbergasted at these guys' ability to get freaking everyone and anyone on this podcast.
That's Anthony mostly.
Well, cool guys. Thanks again for coming on, and hopefully we should just get together and cook. I guess we'll see each other in a couple of weeks, but we need to just hang out. Sure. We should create a super group. It'd be kind of cool to do one. Just do like a Pitmasters podcast barbecue team. We just roll like 20 deep.
Well, we should just. I think what we need to do. Let's just do this. We've got the Rusty Anthony competition going to happen. Why don't we just head to head, team it against team, and just
we're gonna do it. Rusty and I we're gonna do a steak cook off. So
no, I know you guys do your steak cook off, but then we do a full KCBS, and we can test it and say, oh, you guys are a little salty, whatever, do this or that. But ultimately, it's a practice for everyone, and we're all learning. So we check techniques, all of that, help each other learn. Let's make better teams, right?
Yep, exactly.
Awesome.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Anthony, for talking with us, asking questions, and having fun with us. Bye.
Sure.
All right, guys. Welcome to the second segment of our Meet the Pitmaster segment we're doing. So we now are going to talk to Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue. Head cook is your truly Anthony Lujan, also the co-host of this lovely show, and his teammate Trevor Jensen. Now, Rick is also one of the teammates. He's not able to join us today, but he's here with us in spirit. Trevor, since we already know Anthony, introduce yourself. What got you into barbecue? First of all, start with who you are, where are you from, and what got you into barbecue?
Yeah, I'm Trevor Jensen. I am mostly from Utah, but kind of been all around as a kid and as an adult. And currently, obviously, I'm Smoking Ain't No Joke Barbecue. I originally started out in barbecue when I was living up in Alaska. It was kind of more of a subsistence thing up there, just throwing stuff together, smoking some fish, smoking some deer, all that type of stuff. And that's really where I got into it. And there was this guy that lived next door to us that had this shack in his backyard where he'd slow smoke his salmon for like a week. And it was like the smokiest thing, but it was delicious and it was amazing. And that was like where the smoke flavor to me, I always liked barbecue growing up, but that was when like smoke flavor hit me like, oh my heck, that's so good. And he was smoking with fresh alder that he'd cut out of his backyard and everything. So anyway, it was just pretty much it stemmed from that. And then when I moved back from Alaska to Utah, I decided to go check out a KCBS event. But it was the Sam's Club back when they were doing Sam's Club. And anyway, I walked around, and I came at a bad time. It was like the part of the morning where everybody was stressing out, and I was like, man, these guys aren't very nice. Like, what the heck? Like, this isn't that cool. This isn't like as cool as what I've seen on TV, barbecue crawl and stuff like that. And so I walk over to the judging area, and I'm like, man, what do I have to be one of these lucky bastards, get to eat all this barbecue? And so then I saw the judging class. I became a CBJ. And then I was like, I got to be part of this, and started my own team. At that time was La Luna Barbecue. And I just couldn't do it by myself anymore. And Anthony was looking for some help, so transitioned over. That's where we're at now.
That's cool. And if you bits and pieces throughout the podcast, you'll learn Anthony's story. But let's just solidify it all now into one. Anthony, how did you get started on barbecue? Where did it start for you?
It literally just started with just learning how to cook in the backyard. I actually worked at Sportsman's Warehouse back in the days. Got a good discount on a grill and went home, set it up, roasted a lot of food, try to figure out what I was doing wrong. And then at that time, the Barbecue Pitmasters show came out, and I was like, oh, I'm doing this completely wrong. I need an offset, just everything. So that kind of where it started. Was able to move to Utah. I was in Washington State at the time, moved back down to Utah. Seeing the R&R barbecue class, took the class. A month later, there was a backyard competition, the Lehigh Barbecue Pit Stop, jumped on, got some calls, and the rest was history, man. Here we are.
Nice.
doing a podcast about competition barbecue.
Right. So, and then how did the merger become? Because La Luna, I knew you, Trevor, as La Luna, but my very first competition ever, we were neighbors. So
Yeah.
you were one of the very first people I met in pro competition barbecue, and that was really cool. We bonded over our Yoder love.
Yeah.
And Anthony was right across the way, so it was like this. He was our across the street neighbor. So where did this merger come, where La Luna and Smoking No Joke came about?
Well, I guess technically, how should we go about this? So before the merger, I was cooking on my own. Trevor is cooking on his own, and we kind of just hit it off really well, talked back and forth, and then an opportunity came about to go cook in a competition at Bryan Head. And my wife couldn't go, Rick couldn't go. I was flying solo. I hit up Trevor. I was like, Trevor, hey, I got this competition down in Bryan Head. They're doing a whole hog cook the night before. Let's go down there. Just go down there and just do this competition thing out. So he's like, yeah, I'll go. So we roll up there with 2 Weber kettles. People were like, you guys are here to compete on those? We're like, yeah, and we're going to win. And like literally like every person that came by was like, you're going to compete on that? Like, yeah. And then we end up crushing it. And that's where we got our first GC. So we won there and then came back, continued on with the season. Trevor started 2018, right? Was doing La Luna here and there. And then he competed once in 2019 and decided, hey, I can't do this on my own. He put it out there, hey, I'm looking for some teams to maybe pick me up. And I was like, I've won with Trevor. Why wouldn't I pick him up? So here he is. So Trevor.
Yeah, my story's like the same too as yours, Rusty. Anthony was like the first person I ever associated with at competition. We were doing, it was like the red, white, and barbecue, I think maybe, or at Kia. And
the one where we all met?
No, before
that.
Yeah, before. It was the year before, I think. Same competition 1 year earlier. And so I was all set up. I wasn't even going to do it because I was doing the Cabela's backyard as my first one. And Jesse hit me up, Jesse Johnson, and he's all like, we need, some more teams. I'll pay your fee or whatever. So I ended up being like, I'm going to get my butt kicked. And I show up there and Anthony was pitched up right next to me. He was helping me out. We were chatting, having a good time. And then he took GC in that one. Didn't he take GC in that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was kind of our first thing too. So we were both the same way. And then, it was just too much work for me.
Was it the work part of it, or what was it that kind of made you like, oh man, I can't do this on my own? Because if someone's listening right now and they're like kind of thinking about going out on their own, what worked for you? What didn't?
I think you can definitely do it on your own. And I did for almost 2 years. And then I think for me, it was just like, it became more work than like fun. And so when you're as part of a team, you don't have to take as much of the load. You don't have to pack up as much of the stuff. You don't have to, all that. And I could have kept doing it. There's even times I debated even putting that post out there because I was like, I do still have a really good time with it. And I want to be in control of this, that, and the other. But at the same time, I was like, I think it'd just be more fun if I could get together with a couple of guys and have a good time rather than being worried about every single aspect of it on my own. And I was hoping my wife would help more often, and it was just too hard with the kids and stuff. And we tried one where I was like, this will kind of be the last one we'll try. I don't know if you remember that other, might have even been the red, white, and blue the next year. And we brought the RV and everything. And
the spring fling.
And and that was just, I just said, it was just crazy with the kids and crazy with trying to do it this way. So that was kind of the last one where I decided I should branch out. So.
And so we're missing Rick here, Anthony. Explain how he became part of the crew.
Well, Rick is my cousin. He has always kind of been like my brother, so why wouldn't I bring him along? He wasn't really into barbecue at the time. He was like, just like, oh, I'll go hang out with you, drink some beers, just shoot the shit. Then it slowly transitioned to he's taking this a little bit more serious. He's he's crawling before he walks scenario. He's getting more and more involved each competition. And that's actually what I talked to Trevor about coming to this team. I'm like, hey, I have my cousin and he's learning. So he's actually kind of apprenticing under Trevor a little bit on ribs. He's slowly going to take over ribs. And then when he takes over the ribs, Trevor will probably transition to brisket or pork, just to reduce that long cook for me. So but Rick mostly just there for the ride, hanging out and having a good time and enjoying some good food.
Right.
And it transitioned.
So you guys GC together, and then you guys did St. George with us. We were neighbors again. Every single time me and Trevor get together, we're neighbors. And you guys just kind of stepped up the game a little bit too. I noticed you guys did pretty well with all your turn-ins. So how does that gel with you guys? How you guys feel when you work together? Is there some sort of like, I hate to say chemistry, but how do you guys working together? How does that look?
Well, really we're good friends. Trevor and I, we kind of have a little bit of back history, hanging out, we almost have the same point of views on, all the way from spiritual to hanging out with friends type scenario. When I brought Trevor on, I was like, hey dude, I'm not going to mess with your recipes. Your recipes are killing it in the game. You jump in, you cook your chicken, you cook your ribs. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to cook my pork and cook my brisket. And that's how it's going to mesh. So when chicken and ribs were coming off, I was wandering, taking some pictures. I wasn't even involved on that. That was Trevor's deal. Rick was right there learning and helping. So when it came to bringing him on, I was like, he knows what he's doing. He's won numerous chicken and rib calls, so I'm just going to let it ride. So it just worked out nice. So
cool. Yeah. And Trevor, how was that coming into this group back from doing La Luna and working with these guys? How does that mesh for you?
It was pretty much perfect. I mean, that was the thing that I was worried about coming on, is like whether I'm going to have some control or whether it's going to be, or I don't know. It pretty much was perfect. We had a good time. We went and did some fun stuff, and like I said, I was operating as cameraman while he was doing brisket and pork, and we were tasting each other's stuff and really kind of staying out of it, but having a good time. So it worked nicely. And then, just like, hey, help out with this or grab this or whatever. And then it's nice to have that extra person that kind of knows what you want and can anticipate what you need and grab something that you need or whatever. So, I mean, it's been going really good, I think, together. And we just need to get together on a little bit more practices, but this whole coronavirus business is.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Like, you think you'd practice a lot more right now, not together necessarily, but just period. And it's not happening. I've noticed that with a lot of teams. It's almost like they're like, well, there's nothing pressing, so we're not going to really practice.
Right. So that was another aspect too that I forgot to throw in there too. With bringing Trevor on was a huge piece of my missing puzzle. Trevor, like he said, he was a judge. He actually judged quite a bit before he actually jumped into being a team. He has a palate acquired to barbecue. He's able to taste my food, and he's almost honed into what I actually cooked with. So Trevor's able to bring that to the team. Like, hey, I know the judging tables like this. I know what's hitting and what's not hitting. So he's tweaking that flavor profile to me a little bit. Like when he tastes my brisket, he's like, we need more salt, more MSG. So
never too much MSG.
So that's what we did. And our brisket didn't turn out that bad after, and that's the missing element. I would have turned it in, and we would have probably missed it a lot further than we did.
So is it fair to say, Anthony, that you were kind of just running the show and now you kind of have someone there you trust that can take half and you can relax and have a better time?
Exactly. Yes. It's so much more fun, especially with Trevor and Rick, man. They're a blast to hang out with, man. They're the same as your group of Salt City Barbecue, but on a lower tone. They take shots. They're just kicking back in their chairs and they'll take a shot at you. And you're like, wait, did you just really say that? Like, but yeah, my group is exact the same as yours, but a lot more mellow.
we're the drinking crew, bros, and you guys are the sit around and smoke a little and talk philosophy guys. Is that what it is?
Not quite like that, but something like that.
Even though we don't drink.
Yeah, I don't drink.
So, Trevor, how did you learn to do what you do? You do ribs and you do chicken. Where did that come from? Did you take a class? Is it something you learned from trial and error?
Kind of both. I mean, when I was first getting into it, I was like, I had all these like grand ideas, and like I'd even talk to some of the other CBJs at some of the competitions, like, hey man, nobody's doing like Polynesian chicken or like jerk chicken or things like that. And I'm like, that'd be cool to turn that in. And I talk to a lot of the new teams now about that, and just kind of, they want to do their own thing, or but you kind of have to just learn the art of, the competition style and like how fun it is to try to basically beat somebody doing the exact same thing. And like one of the main places it started, I took Danielle's Diva Q's class. It was like a backyard type of class, but it was the 4 meets at Traeger. And that really kind of like clicked a lot of things for me as far as what to do and how to. But after that, it was just like time, like literally with the chicken thighs. I was doing them like every single day, like no joke, every single day for like a month and a half or more, to where I just like hated it. I'm kind of like, I know Danielle was saying this on the podcast too, where it's like she doesn't even want to eat it anymore. And I'm like almost the same. I still do enjoy it, especially on competition day. I like to scarf down a piece, but yeah, even now I'm trying to do thighs still once a week, once or twice a week, even right now. And a lot of it's just doing that. Even if I'm not eating them, sometimes I'll just take thighs out and I'll just trim them, and then like I'll throw them away, or I'll throw them in a stew or something like that. And that's really what it is it's just like practice. I saw somebody on one of the Facebook pages for Traeger the other day that's like, I did my first brisket and it wasn't perfect. Like, what are the tips that I need to do? I'm like, just keep doing it. And that's the thing, especially with competition, you got to get it perfect.
Yeah. And see, you're a tinkerer, and that works for you. You could just do something like that. Like you build your own stuff. You're actually redoing a Traeger now. You're doing all sorts of cool stuff. Like, if you guys don't follow Trevor on any of those, do it. He has this rebuild of a classic. Is it like an 80s Traeger?
Something like that? It's a late 80s Traeger. It's a barbecue 100, like one of the original models, and it's badass.
And see, that kind of detail is something that I lack. That's why I need Chad on our team, because he has that. He has that tinker ability. He has that ability to really dial something in. And I can't even put together, like, this is a funny story. So Anthony and I have the same camp chef griddle, and Anthony's like, oh, that was easy to put together. I about threw the dang thing out the window, and it was easy to put together. It was super easy, but I'm like, oh, this thing it was so terrible. I can't do it. So that's the kind of mentality though that I think you get successful, especially when you're on your own, is that ability to really dial something in, have the patience to go through that every single day for a month, and just and dial in whatever you need to dial in, even if it's just making, okay, I'm going to do some chicken thighs, but I'm going to do a competition before I throw it into the pot. That's a cool idea. I like that a lot.
Right. And I think the whole aspect too, I was a solo cook. Well, Rick was there to help me. He was able to, give me a hand. Hey, clean this up, do that. And then same with Trevor, he was a solo cook. And so when we were able to mesh together, both of our stress levels just went, it just disappeared. Like, I don't have to do all this on my own. And it's very nice.
Yeah, I still do ribs and pork, and I'm very involved in both other aspects. So I'm still very involved. Like, I can't walk away. I wish I could, but it's just not in the cards. I get too nervous. I wish I try, and then I just like, I can't. So that's cool. Yeah. And that's important, you know, to be able to trust each other, and that makes it funner. It's just a better experience for everybody.
Yeah. And so we've officially, Trevor has only cooked two Smoke Ain't No Joke cooks. Was the last one in St. George, and then we went into the off season, and then we got benched currently through a virus. So we haven't had a whole lot of time together, and I feel like that we'll become a lot stronger as soon as we can actually start practicing. We can start tearing into each other's recipes a little bit, like, hey, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. And definitely bring Rick up to speed as well. So I think we will be a lot stronger team as soon as we become more available to.
And so something with you that I think is interesting. So you and I run the teams differently. Payouts, what someone needs, what they buy. Run us through how you have your team set up, Anthony, that how the payouts work, how the money comes in, like who's paying what, who gets what?
So how we kind of agreed to it is if we get the call, get a check, Trevor will spend $100 on chicken. He gets a check for $125. He'll take the $100 back to cover his cost. $25 will go into the entry fee to pay the entry fee. I pay the entry fee. And then for example, say like we grand championship, the whole thing, everybody gets refunded with their costs going into it, the cost of the competition, then whatever's left, we chop. So I think it's extremely fair that we cover your cost per category, and then we get rewarded if we win the whole thing. So it's not like, hey, we're going to take all this money and we're going to force it into the next competition. Well, really, when it comes down to it, if you can recoup your cost, that's a win, So I do this for fun. It's not a business plan for me to make sure I go out there and win checks every single time. I want to at least win to be able to cover my costs and being able to get on to the next one, so money aspect isn't really my drive. It's more or less hanging out with my friends, cooking great barbecue, and being able to get rewarded at the end, hopefully.
Yeah. And if money is your gig, this isn't the profession or the hobby for you.
No, definitely not.
So it's like, yeah, that's a cool system. I think a lot of people who have teams, they struggle with what they do and how they will divvy that stuff. For me, it's like, so I pay for everything on our team. And so I recoup all the money because I put for this first year, I put the initial investment in. I spent, gosh, I don't even want to get into how much the classes were. They were all out of state. I had to travel. I bought 5 gateway drums. I mean, I bought all the rubs. I bought everything. So we're in it a lot. So that's why I recoup mine. But, as things go now where maybe I have recouped it because we did win a lot. We won a decent amount of money. We figured how we basically broke even. We paid for all of our competitions, which is really cool because we did 15. But going forward, I think I'm going to adopt something like you do, Anthony, which is like, and I think it gives a little bit more buy-in too, because now you have something, now you're giving the team some incentive. So yeah, that's what's cool. And it's just a better way because everyone's involved, so if you guys are thinking about doing a team, kind of break that down and get with everybody and trying to figure out how, it works for everybody. I mean, how that's cool for someone like Trevor who can come in and buy his food. And then if he kicks butt, he gets some cash. That's a cool system. Yeah. And does everyone just kind of pay for their own rooms and stuff, or how's that work?
Last time I covered the room cost, and then it kind of, I guess the Airbnb, they had a water main break, and then they said we couldn't use the water. So I was like, oh man. Mm-hmm. So Trevor actually is like, I'll get the room. And so we're like, all right, cool. So then he actually won, and he's like, I'll just take this check and we'll call it a squash. So the whole team aspect of kind of just came around and was able to pick each other up. And that's what's being a team's about. It. Like, oh crap, hey, something happened. Let's fix it.
Right. And so they keep their own hardware, I'm assuming.
What's that?
They keep their own hardware.
Yes. If you win a trophy, that's you.
Cool. So,
yep.
Not being able to practice and stuff like that and getting back in it. How many do you guys plan on doing this year as far as competitions together?
Whatever we can get to, man.
Yeah, as many as they'll open up.
Now in Utah, we only have maybe one. It's looking like.
Yeah.
Are you guys kind of traveling? How does that look for you guys?
Yeah, we're gonna try to get out to some just regional competitions. So we'll see like Grand Junction, Idaho. I'm kind of in the same boat as you with the second weekend of the Idaho competition. If I'm doing well in the SCA, I got to stay and cook the SCA championship. So,
Trevor, do you do SCA cooks?
I have, and I haven't been like real interested in it for whatever reason. Maybe if I go out to one and see it and I don't know, maybe I'll be more interested, but I'd probably be more interested just to come be like a helper for Anthony or something and not be invested in it at all. But
come cook my ancillaries next weekend on that night.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go do I'd probably be more interested in the ancillaries than the steak. But
well, then you're cooking May 9th, then you're doing bacon and wings.
Do it.
Pork belly in the cure this weekend or something. Then it sounds like.
Yeah, as long as it's assembled on location, it's good to go. So think about it. Text me, and
I'll think about it. Yeah, I thought about going and doing the SCA judge class and doing that, but just to kind of see what it's about. But so far, I just have been kind of dipping my toe in the water, looking at it. But I've got another buddy that's been like begging to have me come and do a team with him, but it's just kind of not interesting to me.
You should definitely take the SEA class. It's fun to be able to at least, go taste free steak and some cool ass ancillaries. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been cool talking to you guys. It's interesting that we can flip this and let everyone know, kind of what Anthony and I's teams, because we talk about you guys a lot. So it's cool to have you on. Where can they find you at, Trevor, on the Instas and on the Facebooks?
Yeah, my main account on Instagram is at La Luna Barbecue, LALUNA, La Luna, like the moon. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much my main deal. I've got a Facebook page, but I don't really do anything with it. And then obviously Smoke Ain't No Joke, at Smoke Ain't No Joke for the competition stuff. Yeah,
and go check out his Traeger build. I think you guys would really like it. It's super cool.
He's built some sweet drums as well too. And
yeah, I've done a lot of custom drums for people, and they've been pretty sweet too. So they're all.
So go check him out, and then you guys can buy some of his stuff because it's pretty cool. Those drums, the American flag one, the America one, that was cool.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks, man. It's going to be awesome hanging out with you down the road and on the competitions, and it's good to see you back in the ring. So maybe come out to the steak next week and hang out. It'd be fun.
Sweet.
All right, buddy. Cool. It's not talking to you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah. See you later.
See ya. Yeah.